When my father died in 1974, I took 2 days off work and came back. That was it. 2 days. I arranged the funeral, handled the paperwork, drove my mother home afterward, and returned to the classroom on Wednesday morning. Colleagues said I was strong. I accepted that. I believed it. What I didn't understand then, what took me another 50 years to understand, is that grief doesn't disappear when you refuse to feel it. It goes somewhere else, finds a room in you and waits. And while it waits, it changes the temperature of everything without you ever knowing why things feel slightly colder than they should. I became very good at not feeling things on schedule. My mother went in 1989. A colleague I'd taught beside for 20 years died suddenly in 1997. Heart, no warning. There one Friday and gone by Monday. I went to the funerals. I said the right things. I came home, had dinner, went to bed, got up the next morning. Maggie would watch me sometimes in those days with that particular look she had. Patient, slightly worried, waiting for something to surface. Nothing surfaced. I made sure of it. There was a student once, quiet boy, sat in the 3rd row, 1986 or thereabouts. He died in a car accident his senior year. The school held an assembly. I stood at the back and watched the other teachers cry and felt something locked in my chest that I didn't allow to open. I wrote his name in the margin of my grade book that afternoon. Then I closed it. I thought I was protecting myself. I was. That was exactly the problem. Because here is what I know now, sitting in this kitchen at 84 with more lost behind me than ahead. Grief avoided doesn't stay the size it was when you refused it. It collects, layers over itself. Each new loss lands on top of all the previous ones you never processed, and the weight accumulates quietly like sediment, like snow, like all the slow, patient things that don't announce themselves until suddenly you can't move. Maggie's death broke something open, not just the grief of losing her, though that was its own enormous thing, but everything underneath: my father, my mother, the colleague from down the hall, the student in the 3rd row, decades of sealed rooms all opening at once into a house that was suddenly very empty and very quiet. The first winter after she died, I could barely get out of bed some mornings. Not depression exactly, or maybe it was, I don't know. Something heavier than sadness, something that felt ancient, like it had been building since 1974 and had finally run out of patience. I didn't tell Daniel. He called on Sundays and I said I was fine, managing, getting through. What I was actually doing was sitting in this kitchen at 2 in the morning, unable to locate a reason to move. I was 78 years old and crying about a father who had been dead for 45 years, about a boy who sat in the 3rd row in 1986. It sounds strange. It didn't feel strange. It felt like paying a debt that had been accruing interest for half a century. Claire came more that first year. She'd find me in odd states, not dramatic, just hollowed out in ways I couldn't explain or hide any more. She'd sit with me. She didn't try to fix it, which was wise because there was nothing to fix. There was only the long overdue work of feeling things I had spent a lifetime deferring. I wasn't good at it. Still not entirely at 84. But I understand now what I was doing all those years when I took 2 days and came back, when I stood at the back of the assembly and kept everything locked. I was telling myself I could choose when to feel things and when not to. That grief was something that happened to people with less composure. It isn't. Grief is patient in a way that humans are not. It will wait as long as you need it to. And when it finally arrives, when something breaks the lock, it arrives as everything at once, every loss at full size, every year of avoidance compounded into a weight that takes years to move through. Ruth told me once that she cried every day for the first year after her husband died. Every day, she said, like it was a job. She didn't say it with shame or pride, just as a fact. That's what it took. I understood her completely. I wasn't brave enough to do that. I kept trying to schedule the grief, manage it, keep it to the 2 days I decided it deserved. It disagreed with my schedule. I'm better now than I was those first years. I can sit with loss without immediately finding something productive to do instead. I can let a sad morning be a sad morning without converting it into a task. That's something. Late, but something. My father has been dead for 50 years. I think about him more now than I ever did while I was busy not grieving him. His hands, the way he stood, things I hadn't thought about in decades that surfaced in that first winter after Maggie and haven't fully gone back under. Grief finds what it's owed, one way or another, on your timeline or its own. It prefers its own.